I have to say, like, the best artists that I work with are artists that are also business people and talented in so many different forms. You know, they play multiple instruments, they produce, they run their digital strategy, and Jared is definitely one of those artists. You know, there are very few artists that have crossed over from film and television to music and made a meaningful impact, and he is one of the rare artists who have done that. He's a complete visionary in the digital space, in the music space. I find it incredibly encouraging. He's one of the artists whose feedback I weigh very heavily because I know it's from someone who is a Twitter junkie as well as using the platform in a very extremely meaningful way. You know, one of the things with artists that are really well known is sometimes you'll see them having other people run their accounts, and from the very beginning you have always been at the helm of 30 Seconds to Mars and at Jared Leto, and I just want to know why that was important for you.
Authenticity. I think that the benefit of using platforms like this is to be able to speak directly, clearly, and speak your mind and communicate in a meaningful way. And once you start delegating those things, your voice, that deteriorates a lot.
You have an extremely engaged fan base on Twitter, the Echelon. They have their own name, you guys. What are some interesting stories you had from fan interactions or fan engagement campaigns that you've done?
We're always doing really fun, slightly strange things, which I recommend. But from the very beginning, I think we listened a lot. And I think that's key. A lot of people forget to listen. There's a lot to learn out there, and a lot of people think about it as a platform just to scream, and it's probably much more beneficial to listen and see what other people have to say. And I think that's been a core for us. Some people call that lurking or trolling. You know who you are. What's
some of the feedback you've received from fans or other folks that you've observed on the platform?
We learn things all the time. It could be as simple as what we could do better from our end, what's working great, what's not working so well, to have a really creative experience that make things more fun and interesting. But we learn about things all the time, things that we actually, that it's not a luxury to know, but that it's actually a necessity to know about. What we're doing here is music, interactive, and film. There's a film that I've worked on for 4 years called Artifact. It was about the making of an album called This Is War, where we got into this giant battle with our record company, and they sued us for $30 million. We filmed the whole thing, made a movie about it. It was at the Toronto Film Festival and Gotham, and now it's at South by.
Were you ever concerned about stepping on toes during the making of that film as well? Because I've seen a lot of documenting on Twitter and talking about it as well, and it's a very brave premise.
It's highly critical of the old school record business, but I think that people, I think there are two camps. You know, there's the old school that are trying to hang on, that probably would have a difficult time watching the film. They may want to run out of the room, but it's true to our experience. Which was not a fun one. It was a really brutal one. We've been signed to a record deal for almost 15 years now. And it was an important story for us to tell. But things have certainly gotten a lot better.
I think your band is a great example of a band, as well as you as an artist individually, that are so audience driven. It seems like every aspect of what you do is organically focused on the audience, and I think one of the things we see, hi birds, we have some fans up in the trees. One of the things we see sometimes is a lot of folks, when they're taking to Twitter or Vine, you know, they think that it's about their marketing message, and like you said earlier, it's about listening and hearing what the audience wants as well. If you were, you know, you work with a lot of artists, and you have folks that help in the digital space as well. It's like when you're working with artists or you're giving folks feedback on you know, what they should do. If you had developing artists in the crowd
just
today.
For clarification, because most people probably don't know this,
yeah.
We work with other artists, not just 30 Seconds to Mars. I have a company called The Hive that does digital marketing and e-commerce, and I have another company called Adventures in Wonderland that does ticketing, and more of a new technology company called Vert that is allows artists to create live experiences and then broadcast them to the world without commercials, without advertising. So when I'm working with other artists, I really think it's less about what we... You don't really want to get online and tell everybody what you want, because I don't think people really care what you want. Maybe your mom or your brother does, but it's really about what you have to give, how you can be a service, how you can make people's lives better, what you can put out there, even if it's something fun, funny, sweet, short, stupid, that can be really meaningful. I mean, I've seen things, you know, we've all had a day that's not going exactly right, and we see a piece of content or something online that, you know, makes us laugh or makes us feel connected. So I think those things are really important, to stay in line with giving and being of service. And I think that sharing is ultimately the most important thing to do in social media, period. It's not about consuming, it's about sharing.
One of the arguments that are made in the social space is sometimes it's too much about immediate gratification, or that there's content forms that are consumed very quickly. What is your thoughts on the value of whether something is consumed quickly or has a longer lifespan? You know, Vine,
I think they're both.
Right?
I mean, I think that we're obviously moving toward a real-time internet, and over the next few years, you know, we're, I'm sure, all going to be astounded at the level of that we digest things. So shorter and shorter form content makes total sense, but also the long read makes sense as well. And I think that people probably, we all mix it up and find times that we want to engage something a little bit deeper. And it's nice to hear that there are people working on both sides.
Yep.
In 7 days, we unleash this song. It's called Up in the Air. To the world, and you know, it's really incredibly exciting. We've been off the road for about a year and a half. We in December 2011 we got the Guinness World Record for the longest tour ever, which is basically tells you we toured way too fucking long and almost lost our minds. There's 311 shows over about 2 years and 3 months.
Wow.
Which is roughly a show every day and a half, all over the world, not including like acoustic shows or radio shows. But and then we went right into the studio. So it's been about a year and 3 months, and we start playing shows again. I shouldn't say that. I haven't announced that yet. So
JK, strike it from the record.
Yeah, we start playing shows again pretty soon, and I'm editing a video. Literally, I landed last night, went straight to the room, and was editing the new video. Yeah, with the dark hair. Yeah. What?
When's the album come out?
Oh, that's a great... You know what? That's the best question I could get. Half of your faces are like this. Orange juice. When does the album come out? We haven't announced that yet, so I can't say I'm looking for someone, but I would say sooner rather than later. Our song comes out on the 18th. It's called Up in the Air. Feel free to check it out. But it's good to see you guys.